What's the purpose of a movie? Most of us would say entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. But for Vijay Salgaonkar, they weren't only for entertainment. You guessed it right. This is about Drishyam. Let us see what else is buried in this movie apart from the dead dog and son of IG officer. But before moving ahead, please press the like button, share this episode and subscribe to the channel. There's a link at the end of the description through which you can help me in producing this show. Now, back to the episode. Drishyam was originally made in Malayalam and then adapted into Hindi language. Although I have seen both the versions, for this video, we will talk about the Hindi one. For Vijay, there was something more than entertainment from a movie. And for me too. I like to take economics and finance lessons from them. So let us start with the third movie in the EconBolly section. Vijay Salgaonkar, a character played by Ajay Devgan, is a chauthi fail cable wala. He likes movies, he is passionate about different stories, and for him, they are more than just the stories. He applies whatever he learns from a movie in real life. And yes, applying the knowledge doesn't mean changing hairstyles or fashion. He remembers different scenes, dialogues, and even technical concepts from a movie. Like this. He meets an old couple in a restaurant whose son is unlawfully captured by police and are really stressed. He remembers some movie where the concept of habeas corpus has been discussed. So he advised the couple to lodge habeas corpus writ petition through which this matter could be resolved. The movie is literally based on his skills of using the knowledge he gained from watching movies in his real life. Just a few days after this incident, there was a big accident in his family. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched the movie yet. And if you haven't watched it, then what are you doing? Please go and watch it. So, this IG inspector's son had some footage of Vijay's daughter. She accidentally kills him when he blackmails her and pressurizes her and her mother. Now, the moment Vijay understands this situation, he immediately tries to save his family by doing all the things that he has learned from watching murder mysteries. He knows well where to hide the body, how to dispose of the car, and what to do in case he or his family gets caught. At last, he and his family are safe. At least, that's what we can see from the sequel, Drishyam 2. But what and why are we discussing in this podcast? The reason we are discussing this is what I asked you at the beginning of the episode. What is the purpose of the movie? The movies, any movie, are made for entertainment or at max educate or inform us regarding a social issue. But one thing is sure, they aren't made to educate us on how to hide a murder. Or at least not made with that intention in mind, right? In economics, there is a concept known as externalities. Externalities are intentional or unintentional side effects of economic activity on someone else. Basically, the movies are made for us to watch. But there is an unintentional side effect of movies on Vijay in this case, where he uses movie stories to create an entirely different world of his own during the murder case. Externalities occur when the production or consumption of a specific good or service impacts a third party that is not directly related to the production or consumption of that good or service. Let us elaborate on this concept. Externalities can be positive or negative. Positive externalities occur when there is a positive gain on both the private level and social level. R&D or research and development is an example of positive externality. When companies spend money on R&D, profits increase, which is a private gain for that company. But there is also an unintended or extended benefit to the society. Expenditure on R&D will increase the general level of knowledge in society, which benefits all of us in some or the other form. Recently, we have seen huge expenditures on R&D for COVID-19 virus. That has obviously increased profits of all vaccine makers. But we, society at large, was at the receiving end and we benefited from that knowledge. Not only that, it is said that newer techniques of mRNA are being used for cancer vaccines too. So this is a great example of a positive externality. There is negative externality too. like the vaccines which have good effect on society, there are different side effects of the vaccine too. The best example of negative externality is pollution. Okay, now let us talk about another thing from the movie. You must have remembered these lines.
2 अक्टूबर शनिवार को।
हाँ,
कब गया था?
2 अक्टूबर शनिवार को।
और लौटा कब? 3 अक्टूबर रविवार को।
हाँ, लौटे 3 अक्टूबर रविवार को।
उस 2 तारीख को गए थे शनिवार को और 3 तारीख को वापस।
Here, Meera Deshmukh, the IGP, played by Tabu, realizes that Vijay has been retelling the events occurring during 2nd and 3rd October to the people he met recently. She understands that these events did not occur on 2nd and 3rd October specifically, but after that,
विजय और उसकी फैमिली ने अपनी पणजी वाली झूठी कहानी सिर्फ रची ही नहीं बल्कि जी है,
where Vijay and his family have been recreating these events just to ensure that they have an alibi. So basically, different witnesses like conductor, office boy, restaurant owner, etc. have been telling the truth that on the 2nd and 3rd October, Vijay and his family were not in Pondolim, but they were out for satsang. However, this wasn't the truth. The family told these guys that they were out of town on those days. And since they told this lie so many times, people started believing this to be true. Now, this is called recall or illusory truth effect in psychology. According to Investopedia, the illusory truth effect refers to the human tendency to believe a claim or a piece of information to be true after being exposed to it multiple times. In other words, if we hear or read something repeatedly, we are more likely to believe it, even if it runs counter to our prior knowledge. Using this psychological funda of humans, Vijay and his family created perfect alibis. However, this is not restricted to the movie itself. In real life, social media plays an important role in making people believe in something just because some posts or videos appear frequently even though they could be false. You must have seen some things, usually hate messages, are quite popular on social media. Politicians can use it too often. Usually, repetitive slogans make us believe certain things. Why does this happen? The same Investopedia article says that faced with this informational overload, we don't have the mental capacity to process everything in depth. Instead, we rely on variety of cognitive shortcuts such as heuristics to simplify our decision-making process. And when some things are repetitive, our minds do believe in those narratives. There is wider implications of this. Advertisements do this job. Basically, whenever you walk around any departmental store, there is a high chance that you would pick a product that is highly advertised. You just recall the name or the jingle or the slogan of the ad immediately, and if that has resonated well with you, you would definitely buy the product, irrespective of the quality or other attributes. If there's a cash-rich company, then they will do this. They will run ads on hoardings, TV, and YouTube, and will also rope in many influencers. That means you would see this ad very frequently. That's how brands are built. That's one thing, but there can be something more to it, which can impact your wealth. A lot of times, we also tend to buy stocks whose names are all over our minds. There can be a huge difference between the ad recall value of a brand and the stock fundamentals. So if you have not researched well, you get trapped into this fallacy. So beware of this effect, not just in your personal life, but also while making financial decisions. Also, since elections are around the corner, do take this into account. A lot of times, politicians repeat sentences or dialogues which can be utter lies. But since they are repeated too often, we can get swayed by their personalities and we might believe that the leader is telling the truth. It is just like a very famous dialogue you might have heard in many Hindi movies. बार बार झूठ बोलने से झूठ सच में नहीं बदलता. That's what we are talking about. I hope you liked this episode. Let me know other films and other economic concepts you would like to learn in this way. Don't forget to like, share, support, and subscribe to this channel. See you next week.